So Wildheart's a relatively new organization. I've lived here actually for 6 years, but we started the nonprofit 3 years ago. And really it was in response to the needs of the community after living here for a few years, finding out what we can do. And so a big part of what we're doing right now has to do with the Love the Hill Summer Project, which is an 8-week beautification project that we're in our 3rd year of doing that. And it's been a really fun way to rally together residents, local organizations, and then also just communities of faith from all over the region to come out here and serve this community. So that's a big part of what we've been organizing.
I'm a part of the neighborhood revitalization department, and so our primary focus has been building that community capacity here in South Allison Hill. A lot of what Tannon does aligns with what we do in neighborhood revitalization.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of needs that this community faces overall to see what I would say a true revitalization of the community. But one of those big obstacles has been trash and blight, and so that's a lot of the momentum that we've been experiencing in the last few years. So in the last 2 years, again, with organizations coming together to work in this community and volunteers from all over the nation, we've removed over 1 million pounds of debris from about 20 blocks of the neighborhood. And here we are now in the middle of our 3rd summer doing that exact same activity. And so we're in another 16 blocks of the community. So by the end of this summer, about half of South Allison Hill will have been completely eradicated of illegal dumping. Abandoned properties will be boarded up. Fences will be installed to prevent future dumping. People are getting planter boxes in front of their houses. There's all sorts of different, it's a very comprehensive effort that's taking place in the community. But it's pretty exciting to say an issue that's been going on for decades really in the community, that in a very short amount of time we can make a pretty big impact in that.
Yeah, and I would just piggyback off that by saying that for me it's a lot of resident engagement and building that community capacity, getting people to sort of take ownership for where they live, and just knowing that they have the power to change their circumstances and treating people, more specifically the residents, like they're experts on their community. So when we go out, it's really not a doing for, it's a doing with, because a lot of times we get a lot of participation from the people in the area, despite, what people may think. We get a lot of participation from the people who actually live here.
When things are dirty or unsafe, you want to stay indoors. And so these efforts, as seemingly simple as they have been having a really profound impact on the community, because it's inviting people to come back outside, enjoy where they live, be a part of a community. And that's what's been exciting. And I think that we're continuing to see, I would say, like a snowball of more and more residents getting involved because they're seeing the fruit of all these, the labors that are taking place. We're seeing a breakthrough on that front of resident engagement, I think, because they're feeling respected, they're feeling seen, they're feeling like, you're not calling me the problem, you're letting the problem be the trash and the blight, and you're actually speaking to me in a way that empowers me to be a part of the solution. Which I think is a long overdue way of having that conversation. So I think we're excited to be right in the middle of that. Although we're not necessarily doing any demolition, the ways that we are combating blight on structural levels is making sure that they're sealed off, that people can't go into those buildings and do drugs or all the other different criminal activity that can take place in a property like that. Also, together we've been working on these vacant lot remediation, like taking back these areas that are totally lost to overgrowth or vegetation or illegal dumping piles, putting up fencing and trying to create a green space that can be utilized by the community, because there are so many vacancies. There's not much vision for those spaces, and so that's kind of what we've been working to do, is how do we really create especially in South Allison Hill, which is a park desert. People don't have access to those things. How do we give them something that's a space that can be utilized by the community